Hi everyone, it's Adam from Tranquility Homes. We're here today in our Charnwood Living office. So Charnwood Living is our sales business where we do all of our residential sales. So I'm here with Chris, who heads up that part of the business, and he's going to tell us a little bit today about what's been going on in the property market. So Chris, we're here in Anstey. What's been happening around the area? What have you been seeing over the last few months?
Sure, so as you can see, winter is coming, you know, the nights are getting darker, the days are shorter, and so we're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown because we specialise in family homes, and people who are looking to move are kind of thinking more about Christmas than they are about moving house at the minute.
Yeah, there's a lot of families, isn't there? And families tend to move at kind of the spring, summer kind of the year, so they're settled for new schools and things like that.
Yeah, exactly that, yeah. The last thing you need is worrying about your mother-in-law coming over whilst you're also trying to buy a new house.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, applicants, we're seeing a little bit fewer on the properties that we've got, but it just means we're working extra hard with the applicants we are seeing. We're helping them to get in touch with independent mortgage brokers who can give them a whole market view and doing things that is helping them to put forward a solid offer that we can hopefully get to completion.
Yeah, no, that makes great sense. So I know you said there's fewer applicants around, so how are we working with these applicants to make sure that we're finding them the houses that they want?
Sure, so we work very closely with the applicants. The first thing we do, of course, is have a good chat with them. Make sure we know what their dreams are, what they're looking for, and the kind of thing that they can actually approach. You know, it might be helping them to get that agreement in principle and then finding out, okay, well, it's got to have a garage, it's got to have a nice garden, all of these types of things. And then that way, this works for our vendors and our applicants. We can marry them together to make sure that we're not wasting anyone's time and that they are in the most proceedable position possible.
Okay then, so if there's fewer applicants, we're getting fewer viewers on viewing on houses then. So yeah, working closer with those applicants is more important now than ever, isn't it? To make sure that we are getting as many people through the door.
Of course.
Because I think it'd be fair to say that if we went back 3 or 4 months, you'd probably be inundated with applicants and you probably weren't working with them quite as closely as you'd like, just because, you know, the average house would probably have 20, 30 viewers on it, wouldn't it?
Exactly that. Yeah, we've seen a number of properties in Anstey where they've been sold within a week. We've had 30 applicants looking at beautiful properties, and at the minute, yeah, things are slowing down a little bit, and it just means that we need to be extra proactive, making sure these things happen. Something that we're doing, for example, making sure that viewings are happening in the daytime. You know, there's nothing worse. You can't go round to a house and get a really solid opinion on it if you're looking around in the dark, you know.
Yeah, no, that's totally right. And yeah, it makes sense. I remember going back to when I used to look at properties and things to buy, and it was, yeah, you wouldn't want to see it in the dark. You couldn't see the roof, you couldn't see the garden or get a real good feel for where the sun is or anything.
Yeah.
So I know in the last few months, the interest rates have changed dramatically. So, I mean, has that had much of an impact on the market, do you think? What are kind of applicants saying to you?
Generally, what we're hearing from applicants is a lot of feedback about the cost of living crisis. We're hearing a lot about mortgage rates going up. We're hearing a lot about their affordability being impacted. Yeah. And for some people, that's really, really upsetting. They might have had their eye on something that's, I don't know, over £500,000, and just a couple of months later, they're looking at something that's more like £400,000. So there has been a big impact in the market in terms of people's affordability. Yeah. And it's important that we keep our vendors and our applicants updated all the time with these kinds of developments, because there's nothing worse than not knowing or having expectations that just can't be met.
Yeah, so I mean, from what you've been saying about mortgages then, that makes total sense why it's really important to be working with an independent mortgage advisor, right? Because then you're going to get an idea of the whole of the market, and saving those few pennies here and there now is even more important than it was before. So yeah, I think if we can save them some money on the mortgage, they're probably going to have a little bit more money that they can afford to put into that new property and maybe able to pay a little bit more for it.
Well, one of the things that we have seen, of course, is the change in stamp duty, which has worked really well for first-time buyers, going up a good chunk more where they don't have to pay any stamp duty. So there is a little bit of a saving there. And something else, of course, that we're doing, we've got a close relationship with a handful of great conveyancers who are local to the area, who we know will complete in a timely fashion. And so that's another thing that we can do to help make sure that things progress as they should.
Excellent. So what are we doing for vendors? I mean, all these things we're saying definitely help the applicants, and in turn they're going to help the vendors with hopefully getting a high price from the mortgage side, hopefully getting a quicker sale from the conveyancing side. But what are we doing with our clients who want to sell the houses?
Sure. So this year we've seen a total kind of change in our marketing strategy.
Yeah.
We've started doing lots of really, really nice bespoke individual marketing for our properties in order to make sure there are as many eyeballs as possible on them, you know, stopping people scrolling in their tracks.
Yeah.
We're working extra hard. We've started doing all of the TikTok and the Instagram and all those kinds of things because that's where people are looking these days.
Just gets us in front of more people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I guess it's outside of the box thinking. You know, there's these first time buyers probably aren't using Rightmove or websites quite as much as they were. So yeah, being on TikTok and doing videos and things must make a tremendous difference, especially like you say with the nights drawing in, being able to see the property in the light.
Definitely. We've seen really, really good response from our video tours where essentially we're walking through the properties like we were viewing it.
Yeah.
And it really helps people to visualise the internal layout and the ideas that they might have when they take the plunge.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know, I guess the $1 million question, which everyone really wants to know the answer to, and which, let's face it, as an estate agent, is probably the first question you ever get asked. Where do you see the property market going in the next 3 months? Because I mean, like you said, we've seen a number of changes with the stamp duty, with interest rates, with cost of living, with the drop in number of applicants. So I mean, do you see that coming through into the price that we're likely to pay for a property?
As always, there's so many things in the air with this. The plus side of this is we're coming into spring, so we're going to see a lot more motivated buyers and sellers. Demand will continue to outstrip supply, especially in desirable North Leicestershire villages. And I think we might see more of a levelling off than a tumble. I think that's going to be reflected in the prices we see locally, because, you know, somewhere like Rothley, Anstey, these are still really desirable places
Premium
for
areas, aren't
families.
they?
Yeah, exactly. You've got the transport links, you've got the amenities, you've got all of those things that the family are looking for, you know, who are generally, we find, moving out of the city and looking for that little bit of extra space. So we'll see. I'm pretty positive though at the minute.
So no, that sounds great, and I think it sounds like you're totally right. Doing everything that we're trying to do for the clients, doing that little bit extra with extra viewings, trying to get more applicants through the door, working with those, is only going to help try and push to get the best price for their property and help them get moved ultimately, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
that's it.
So great, no, that's excellent. Well, yeah, thank you very much for the update today. I will just say as well, we've got a fantastic new Charnwood Living website. We'd love for you to log into that. It's just charnwoodliving.co.uk. If you want to visit that, then by all means have a look. We'd love to hear your feedback as well of what you think of the new site. And hopefully we'll be speaking to you soon with more market updates and more information for you. Thanks for watching. And thank you, Chris.